everyone and welcome to my new video. This is Desert Strike on the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. This was one of the games that defined the Mega Drive and probably one of the games that made it, certainly as far as I was concerned, one of my consoles of choice. This is a fantastic game. It sort of came hot on the heels of the Gulf War, the first Gulf War in the early 90s, and it's shamefully a reenactment of the Gulf War. It's set in the Middle East, some random Middle East place. The guy there, the general, does he look a bit like Norman Schwarzkopf? Yeah, kind of does. The bad guy in the game is a guy called General Kill Baba, and although he doesn't look like Saddam Hussein, his henchman certainly does look like Saddam Hussein. It even has, at the end, like the President of the United States, who's, at that time was clearly Bill Clinton. It's it's not politically correct, but it's a video game. How many video games, let's be honest, are politically correct? I mean, at least Electronic Arts, when they made this game, attempted to create some sort of invented mythological Middle Eastern country. And when you look at the last Medal of Honor game, I mean, that's just basically set in Afghanistan, and it even references that everything, the Taliban, Al Qaeda, the special forces operatives, the regions that you operate in. I mean, there's no disguise. That's what it is. So at least I suppose there was some semblance of trying to make the game not exactly the Gulf War, but kind of was the Gulf War. I mean, missions in this have you taking out Scud missile launchers, chemical weapons plants. It essentially, was I'm not going to say a celebration of the Gulf War, but it certainly was heavily influenced from it. And the role that you take as well is you are an Apache gunship pilot, and it's your actions alone that's going to bring down General Kill Baba, which is a Kill Baba, yeah. But it doesn't really seem to matter. I mean, a lot of video games sort of base themselves on pseudo-reality, and this is no different. And it is an excellent game. It plays very, very well. It looks fantastic. And it's very, very addictive. And you always know that you can complete a mission. That's the thing with this game. You always know that completing the mission is possible. And even if you fail dismally and get blown up, by the way, you get 3 lives to start with for each campaign mission. So when you complete that campaign, you then get your 3 lives back. So it was quite clever in that respect as well. It did remove quite a lot of the frustration. The controls can take a bit of getting used to at the beginning, because the helicopter does have inertia, which means it doesn't, when you stop pressing in the direction, it still will sort of move for a period of time. You can mess about with the different control settings in the menu, but I find the default control setting to be the best. And I like the way you can jink the helicopter from side to side as well to try and avoid missile fire and so on and so forth. Along the way, you'll need to pick up fuel and ammunition, and if your armor gets low, this can be replenished one of 2 ways. You can pick up POWs, and you can pick up local tribesmen, and if you drop them off at a landing zone, you'll get armor back. Or alternatively, scattered around the maps are like 1 or 2 armor crates which you'll find. They usually are hidden in buildings, and they can be quite difficult to find, so the surefire way is to drop off any POWs that you've got to stock up on your armour. The most indispensable asset though in the game is your map, which you can see here, because this tells you where you need to go. There's no on-screen compass or anything like that, as you can see. There's actually no heads-up display whatsoever, and this changed in later Desert Strike games, or Strike games should I say, but in this one there was no HUD whatsoever, so you needed to keep referring to your map, because you need to keep an eye on your fuel and, as I say, your ammunition, your armour, and also you need to know which targets you need to hit. That's important that you hit them in order, because if you don't, you'll fly into an alert zone, and that's really bad news, because if you fly into an alert zone, essentially the enemy take far more hits, and the damage they inflict on you, they can shoot you down very, very quickly. They inflict far more damage on you than they would do normally. But the game isn't without a few niggles. One of the niggles is sometimes, like you just saw just before, you'll have a missile launcher and you'll have an enemy soldier stood next to it, and you fire one of your Hellfire or Hydra missiles, and it'll target the weakest guy first, and there doesn't really seem to be a lot you can do about that. You can pick up a better winchman and gunner, but that doesn't always make as big a difference as you would think, and that can be quite frustrating too. But it's a minor niggle, and to be honest with you, when you can pick up more ammunition, it doesn't present itself as a problem too much. But it can be annoying sometimes, as can you accidentally blowing up your own resources. You can blow up fuel dumps, you can blow up ammunition, and you also can kill your own soldiers as well, so you need to be careful what you're targeting on the battlefield. But you know, that's just part of the gameplay, and none of it in any way, shape or form actually has an adverse effect. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. As I say, this was one of the quintessential Mega Drive games. It was one of those, I go so far as to say, a console shifter. Especially for the more slightly older audience. Sonic the Hedgehog was definitely the main poster boy for the Mega Drive. It was games like this that I think helped shift it as well, because you don't want to just be playing Sonic all the time, and this really did add to the console's reputation. It's a great game. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned to my channels for more videos to come. Thank you very much.